What's going on, combat sports fans? Welcome to Joe's Madness. If you're new to the channel and have a passion for combat sports, punch that subscribe button into submission. And if you enjoy this prediction here for UFC Fight Night 109, coming to us from Stockholm, Sweden, with the main event of Alexander Gustafsson versus Teixeira, make sure to slap that like button like a pimp like you mean it. Share the video with your family and friends, and make sure to let us know what you think down below in the comment section. So this is going to be a fantastic fight, as both of these guys, in my opinion, are elite light heavyweight fighters, as they have both only lost to elite fighters in recent history. We'll get into Glover's first two losses as a pro, and then we'll get up to the other stuff. But Gustafsson, the Mala from Sweden, 17-4, and Glover, ranked number 2 from Brazil, 26-5 in his pro career. Gustafsson's got the number 1 ranking, even though he will not be challenging the champion next. It's going to be a champion versus the stripped and former champion, Jon Jones versus DC. But anyways, we'll get into that another time when we get to that prediction video for Jones versus Cormier 2. Will it ever happen? I hope so. But let's get to the Mauler, Alexander Gustafsson. First, we'll get to the prediction right now, and then we'll go into more on Gustafsson. I am going to be going with Alexander Gustafsson to win this one by KO, TKO in the 3rd round. I kind of feel like it might be a 4th round finish. I would love to see a 1st round finish for Gustafsson in Stockholm, Sweden, where he's where he's from and whatnot. But I have a feeling the Brazilian is going to make this one a fight that's going to last 3 rounds out of a 5-round possibility. So we have Gustafsson coming in with 10 wins by KO, TKO. It says 3 by submission, 4 by decision. He's lost once by KO, TKO, 1 time by submission, twice by decision. The 4 men he's lost to, the first time he ever lost was UFC 112 in 2010 against Phil Davis via the Anaconda choke. Before that, he had never lost. He was on a, he was on a 9-fight win streak until he fought Phil Davis and lost. And then he made another big run in the UFC with rear naked chokes, TKOs, unanimous decisions. Then he went against Jon Jones at UFC 165 for the light heavyweight championship and lost by unanimous decision. He fought Jimmy Manuwa UFC Fight Night 37 and defeated him by TKO. He goes against Anthony Rumble Johnson and gets defeated by TKO in the 1st round at UFC on Fox 14. He bounces back and fights Cormier for the light heavyweight championship and loses by split decision at UFC 192. I'm pretty sure, yeah. And then he comes back at UFC Fight Night 93 and wins by unanimous decision over Jan Blachowicz. And now he's back to main eventing once again, and it's awesome. I am really excited for this fight. And then we go over to Glover Teixeira. 15 wins by KO, TKO, 7 by submission, 4 by decision. He's lost twice by KO, TKO. No one's ever been able to submit this man, Glover Teixeira, in his pro career with 31 fights, and this will be his 32nd fight. And then he ends up, he has 3 losses by decision. To start out his pro career, he loses by TKO against a guy by the name of Eric Schwartz, and by TKO. He bounces back, has 2 wins at unanimous decision and TKO. He goes against short fuse Ed Herman and loses by unanimous decision. Then he goes on an insane run of TKOs, rear naked chokes, guillotine chokes, and much more. That's a huge. It'd take me a moment, like maybe if I counted up those before the video, then I would tell you how many he won in a row. But then he went against Jon Jones for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship at UFC 172 and loses by unanimous decision. He fights Phil Davis at UFC 179 and loses by unanimous decision. And then he goes against Ovince St. Peru. He beats him by rear naked choke. He defeated Patrick Cumming by TKO, Rashad Evans by KO. He fights Anthony Rumble Johnson at UFC 202 and loses by a devastating KO in the first round. He comes back at UFC 208 and wins by unanimous decision over Jared Cannonier. And there you have it for their records and so forth. So I know he's got a submission game and he's nasty on the ground. He's got them hands that can knock you out too, but I don't believe he's going to be able to knock out or submit a Gustafsson. I believe a Gustafsson is going to be able to stop him by TKO, KO. Most likely it'll be a TKO. I believe up against the cage somewhere is most likely what I kind of feel like going for Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson to win this one by way of referee stoppage by TKO over Glover Teixeira. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? Do you think Gustafsson can stop and get a TKO KO victory over Glover Teixeira, or do you think he'll be able to submit him or defeat him by decision? Or do you think Glover will be the one to win this fight and how he'll win? Let me know down below in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to take a moment to slap that like button like a pimp, like you mean it. And if you agree with my prediction, slap that like button like a pimp, and make sure to punch that subscribe button into submission. And if you want, share the video with your family and friends and all over the interwebs. Thanks for watching. Combat Sports is awesome, and you're all amazing.